This presentation will discuss the information that's being presented in the April 4th, 2018 meeting for incoming 7th graders. The goal of this presentation is to provide information about differences between the middle school and the elementary school and give parents and children an idea of what to expect next year as they transition to Centerville Middle School. First thing we'll talk about is who you contact in specific situations. So for any health concerns, you'd want to contact Bonnie Weaver. She is the school nurse, or Sheila Rohr. If there's any immunizations that need to be covered, they'd be the ones that would be contacting you, and they all must be completed no later than the first 5 days of school. That's really important because that's a new law change effective this year. If you have any questions about vaccinations or medicine, any of those things, please contact Bonnie Weaver or Sheila Rohr. If there's classroom concerns, please contact the teacher directly first. The email address is firstname_lastname at hemfieldsd.org. If that does not resolve it, then you would contact the principal, Lisa Mumal. And once again, it's first name, last name, so it's Lisa_Mumal at hemfieldsd.org. If you have questions about behavior or concerns about behavior, you would contact the assistant principal, Bill Ackerman. That's his email address. It's once again first name_last name at hemfieldsd.org. If there are social-emotional or concerns about academic issues with students, you'd contact me. I'm the 7th grade school counselor. My name is Nate Milton. That's my email address and my phone number. So we have some attendance information. For dropping off, at 7:10 is when the doors open. You want to use the drop-off circle that is behind the school. That's where you'll always drop students off and also pick them up at the end of the day if they're car riders. If they're late, please send in a note. Students may sign in without a parent or guardian, so that's different than the elementary school. At 3 days is the amount of time that you have to hand in a written excuse. Those slips are collected in homeroom, and if you know that your child is forgetting, please just call. We can take care of it. You would want to talk to the attendance secretary. Just to reinforce where you would drop students off, you can see Centerville Road is here. Here's the Turkey Hill. You would enter in at that main entrance where the sign is, and then this is the circle where you would drop them off, and then you would exit out that same exit. Okay. If there's an early dismissal, parent or guardian with ID must come to the office to sign the student out. If you know in advance that you're going to be missing a period of time because of a family vacation, you want to get a pre-approved absence form. It does require the principal's approval, and the students need to check in with each of their teachers to have them sign and let them know what they'll be missing before they take their trip. For an extended absence, you want to, for example, they were sick for a long period of time, you could call guidance to collect work, or make sure to check Sapphire and Schoology, because most likely that's where all the schoolwork will be. For emergency contact information, only the contacts that are listed in Sapphire will be able to pick up your child. So adults must also have ID to present to the secretaries, and if there's an issue where we have concerns that we need to contact you, we'll call the parents first, then other contacts in Sapphire. So make sure to update those if you have not already. Centerville follows a school-wide positive behavior support plan, and it falls under the 3 main rules, or 3 main expectations of all students. C, choose to be safe. M, make responsible decisions. And S, show respect. All student behavior falls under those 3 expectations. Some of the main principles that we follow, we're focusing on preventing incidences before they take place. We want students to learn from their mistakes, and also we are depending on students to report incidences when they take place. A lot of the referrals come from unstructured time. That is a new thing for students who are transitioning to 7th grade, so it's a responsibility that they need to learn how to manage. We do have cameras on site at the entrances, hallways, and cafeteria that helps us to identify or corroborate student concerns or stories. And you'll be able to find all grades and discipline for students on the parent portal. If you don't have a account already, you would want to contact the technology department for that. There is a dress code. Essentially, all students must be covered from armpit to armpit down to mid-thigh. The strap should be 3 fingers wide, and there should be no advertising of alcohol, firearms, or tobacco. For PE, we do not sell uniforms. The students are expected to wear black, red, or gray shorts or sweatpants, or a white, black, or red t-shirt. Essentially, it's Hempfield colors. Ways that you can promote student success here at Centerville. First is encourage your child. Self-advocacy is an absolutely critical skill for all students, and this is a time when it's developing. Encourage your child to take responsibility for whatever issue it is. If they have a grades issue, talking to a teacher, finding out what work they can make up. Obviously, it is a bit of a dance where you have to learn as a parent how much to give them and how much to sort of jump in to support them. Time management and organization are also key skills in the middle school level. Continue to encourage them to use binders. Typically, students will have a morning binder and an afternoon binder, but every student is different. You as a parent can check Sapphire and Schoology to identify what their grades are, what work is missing. That's a key support for them. Finally, social media is a concern for the middle school. Encouraging them to minimize their time on social media, and maybe even eliminating their time on social media. That seems like it's a really healthy practice. One reality with middle school is the fact that students are changing their friend groups many times. So you're going to see the friends that they end up with now won't necessarily be their friends as they transition to high school. And that's okay. It's a healthy process of self-discovery, but it can be difficult sometimes. So learning to support your child through that transition is key. Continue to be the parent who's engaged and kind and supportive. That goes a long way to helping your child successfully transition to middle school. The first day of school, students will have extended homeroom, so they'll have lots of time to get acclimated and get used to the new school. They'll receive their student schedule, their locker assignment, and their combination, and they'll practice that actually during that 2-hour delay schedule. They'll tour the building so they get to see where each of their classrooms are, and they'll receive a student planner that has the rules and regulations. They'll also receive an emergency card that they can you'll need to update lunch menus for your new lunch application. For medication, if you do have medication concerns where a student needs to take that during the course of the school day, contact the school nurse. We still need volunteers even though we're in middle school. We love to have parents come in to help us out. So if that's something that you're interested in, please get that form from the main office. And finally, excuse cards. We do have some excuse cards that you can use to just identify when your child has been absent. All homework is posted on Schoology. You want to make sure to be watching those things, also to be in communication with the teacher if there's any concerns about them doing their homework. Most textbooks are online, and just be in communication. We'd love to hear from parents. There are a lot of student activities that students can get involved in. Once again, these are key skills that students can learn just to learn how to make friends and how to connect with others. So things like the spelling bee and geography bee, math counts, band, orchestra, chorus, any of these opportunities would be great for you to encourage a child to get involved in so that they can continue to make friends and connect. Here are a bunch of other different opportunities. Of course, the science fair, tech squad, library helpers. All of these are great for a student to get involved in. If your child's interested in athletics, there are school-sponsored physicals for the first week of June in the Franklin Gym. They're for $20. That would take care of next school year. Every single year that your student wants to participate in athletics, they need to have a physical. So the one from this year wouldn't count for next year. You want to turn in that form as soon as possible to the athletic department so your child qualifies. All of the physical forms will be posted on the athletic webpage. Once again, it covers students for all year long, and the present activity fee is $50. If your student is involved in a fall sport, the first day will be Monday, August 20th. We also want to make sure we are communicating with you and having a chance to connect. One opportunity would be coffee with the counselors. These are the dates for next year. Essentially, the counselor puts together some information that's relevant for that time of the school year and answers parent questions. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to have you join us. October 11th, that'll be our first meeting for the coming school year. For 7th grade, the two teams are the scribes and the knights. Teaming involves all different levels and interests of students. We want to have a good mix of each of the 4 sending schools. So the goal is to mix students as much as possible so they're interacting with new folks. And each of the scribes and knights will eat together. That helps to reduce discipline issues. So depending on which team the student is on, that will determine when they have lunch as well. The schedule, it's a 7-day period, 46 minutes per period. There are 4 lunches. You can see that here. It's lunch A, B, C, and D. And there's 4 minutes between classes. At the end of the day, all students have a flex period, and that's a time when students can get their homework done and also ask teachers if they have any questions. A typical schedule, you'll see there's a double period of ELA. Their core classes, math, science, history. In 7th grade, it's world history. And then they have 2 periods of exploratory classes. All students will receive exploratory classes. That's PE, music, health, FCS. This is the computer applications, art, and technology education. This was implemented this year, that all students have a double period of ELA with 1 teacher. There's no longer 2 separate courses for reading and English. It's all 1 course now. Your student will be recommended for 1 of 3 classes: Advanced ELA, ELA, and Foundations ELA. Students have already been recommended for courses. You'll be receiving those sheets sometime soon. Course recommendations consist of 4 main things: the current course grade, PSSA performance, PVAS. This is a prediction of how students will do on the PSSAs in the next school year. And then finally, the student's grade test. That's a reading test. They're State 9. For the advanced placement courses, they're looking for analytical thinkers, strong reader and writer, and the ability to comprehend and master new skills at a quick pace. It does go faster than the regular courses. So that gives you a sense of those recommendations and how those were determined. So here are the different levels that are offered at Centerville Middle School. For math, there's 4 different levels: Algebra 1A, Pre-Algebra Accelerated, Pre-Algebra A, and Foundations of Math. Science, Advanced Life Science and Life Science. History, Advanced World History and World History. And ELA, it's a double period: Advanced ELA, ELA, and Foundations of ELA. For music, students who are involved in band, chorus, and orchestra will meet during flex 1 time per cycle. They still will have at least 4 flex days. We'll have at least 4 flex days without a scheduled ensemble. Because of the band, chorus, and orchestra meeting during flex, we also combine their music class and make it a more specialized music class for any student involved in those activities. So, for example, anyone involved in band would also take brass woodwinds percussion techniques, and anyone involved in chorus would take vocal techniques, and anyone involved in orchestra would take string techniques instead of their regular music class. That's important to note just because that is actually extra practice time in preparation for concerts. So that's the way the music class is structured. Some students, if they are interested for instrumental band or orchestra, could also take an additional time of half a marking period of additional practice time in the string techniques or brass woodwind percussion techniques. That would be 1/4. So instead of having PE for a full semester, it would only be for a quarter. So it is reducing the amount of time students are in PE. That's an option. If that's something that interests you, please fill that out on the course recommendation forms or course verification forms you'll be receiving. The schools will, each of the ascending schools will be coming to Centerville Middle School in May. So that will be time for students to hear from the principal, the counselor, and some of the teachers. Also, they'll get to see the building. So that will be in May. Just another step to them getting a sense of what the building is. So those are the dates. May 7th is Centerville, May 8th is Mountville, May 9th is Warristown, and May 10th is East Petersburg, and that will take place during the school day. In the summer, we also offer tours. August 7th would be the morning time, 10 to 11:30, and then August 14th is from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And we'll have student guides during that time, and it's a time basically to walk your schedule and to get a feel for the building. There's a lot of ways for you to connect with us. Please make sure to subscribe to our updates, our daily updates, and we also have pictures that are often posted on Facebook. If you download the Hempfield app, that will help you to get to those things. Hopefully this gave you a sense of what this transition to Centerville Middle School will look like. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out and give us a call. Thanks so much.